Hey everyone, and welcome to day 4 of my 50 days of floral granny squares. This is the next square that I pulled, and the random color generator gave me this palette. Yes, I think it's mocking me. It's all good. This one is a 3D flower, and I thought I would film like a tutorial video for how to do these 3D flowers, because there's some things about it that can trip you up. So let's get started. So it's a pansy, and this is the diagram you get on the back. So you just get the diagram for the flower. The solid square in the background, there's 2 patterns inside the little booklet that show you how to do there's 2 different styles of solid square. So this one is the granny square solid background, which you can tell this one is because it's got the little granny squares, and then the other solid one is the solid granny, and that's this pattern. I haven't come across that one yet, so I haven't made that one pattern, but this is the same pattern that I used for day number 2, which is this one. So with these 3D motifs, you crochet the flower part first, and then you crochet the back, attaching it to your flower as you go. So let's get started. The first color that the random color generator spat out was denim, so that's going to be my center. I'm just going to move these off to one side, and when I look at my background, I'm just going to zoom in on this one. All of these flowers start with a chain 4 center. Now, I'm not a fan of that. I find that it leaves too big of a hole in the middle. So I'm going to use a magic circle. If you don't know how to do a magic circle, Google it, because I'm just going to go real fast. But if you don't know how to use a magic circle, do your chain 4 method, and then all of your single crochets go into the chain 4. This one has 8 single crochets. So a single crochet symbol is this cross or X. So there's 8 of them. The 4 that look like they are purple aren't actually purple. They're just bolded. And those are the 4 where you attach your solid granny square after you finished making your flower. So I'm going to do a magic circle and 8 single crochets into my magic circle with my denim. Quick review of a magic ring. I've got the tail in the palm of my hand. I'm just going to hold it there. I'm going to flip my hand over and make an X on the top of my fingers with my working yarn. And then I take my crochet hook, I go underneath the front, grab the back of that X, pull it forward and twist at the same time. Then I'm going to take my hook again and go underneath that back strand and pull that through for a chain. And now I can take my fingers out, and I've got my loop that I can work into. The pattern shows I need 8 single crochet into my ring, or in that case 4 chains. So I'm going to do my 8 single crochets. And now I can pull my tail and tighten my ring. Before I tighten it all the way, I'm going to come into that very first single crochet that we made, and I am going to slip stitch. I'm going to do a little chain, cut off my yarn, pull my tail through, tighten it, and that is round 1 done. And I can pull on this other tail and tighten up that ring super tight. Okay, round 2, if we look at our diagram, so we have just done, I did a magic ring instead of the chain 4, and then I've done 8 single crochet. I'm not going to worry about these dark single crochets just yet. We'll get to that once our flower is done. So now I'm looking at round 2. There's a little 2 here. So that is showing that I attach my yarn at this single crochet, which was the last single crochet that we made. So I'm going to attach my yarn there. I'm going to chain and then I'm going to single crochet back into that single crochet. I'm going to chain 3, I'm going to skip over a single crochet from the row below, and then I'm going to single crochet into the next one, and repeat that. Chain 3, skip a single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, so that looks a little bit like, and Random Color Generator gave me Toasted Coconut for my second color, because that seems like an appropriate flower color, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm gonna ignore this single crochet for now that has my, like where I finished off my yarn, and I am going to come into the one behind it. I'm gonna split my yarn. I'm gonna pull my yarn through and then do that single crochet to attach. And now I'm going to go right back into that same stitch and do a single crochet, chain 3, skip over the next single crochet into the following stitch, chain 3, skip a stitch, single crochet in the next, chain, 3, skip a stitch, single crochet, chain 3. Now let's take a look at what the instructions say. Find another pointy tool for you. So we've come around to here. I've done my last chain 3, and now it says to slip stitch into my starting chain, not the single crochet. And then I'm going to come across, I'm going to skip that single crochet, and I am going to single crochet into the chain. Well, I'm going to be working into the chain. So I want to leave that single crochet sort of open for now. Okay, so I'm going to slip stitch into my chain, and then I'm going to work all these stitches into my chain 3 space. So I need to work a single crochet, a half double crochet, 3 double crochets, a half double crochet, a single crochet. So let's take a look at that. So looking at my work, this is my single crochet, so I don't want to go into that. I want to slip stitch into my chain. So I'm just gonna do that. Maybe, there we go. I'm gonna skip that single crochet, and then into this chain 3 space, I have to put single crochet, a half double crochet, and then 1, 2, 3, 3 double crochets, 1 more half double crochet, and 1 more single crochet, all into that chain 3 space. And then, so we've just done all of these, and then I need to slip stitch into this single crochet. So I find my single crochet, I'm going to slip stitch into it. This just anchors down my little leaf there. And then I'm going to repeat this whole combination in the next chain 3 space, slip stitch into my single crochet, repeat the combination, and again, all the way around. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back. Okay, I finished the round, and I did my final slip stitch. Let's take a look at the diagram again. So at the end of the round, you slip stitch back into the starting slip stitch. Now, I need to sort of slip stitch over to get to the very first single crochet of my little flower petal, and then we're going to make this bigger petal. Now the bigger petal is a repeat again. However, we only do it once in this color. So for me, that's Toasted Coconut. And then we pull in color number 3, which the wheel decided would be Poppy Red. I am not in control of these decisions. I just do what the wheel tells me. Okay, to make this petal, we're going to slip stitch over to that first single crochet of the inner petal leaf thing, and then we're going to chain 3 and put a double crochet right back into that single crochet. Into our half double crochet we put 2 double crochets, and then into the next double crochet 2 double crochets. Into the middle double crochet we put 3 double crochets. The next double crochet gets 2 double crochets, the half double crochet gets 2 double crochets, and then lastly into our single crochet we do a double crochet, a chain 3, and then we slip stitch back into that single crochet, and that completes that color. So, and then we switch to the red and we do the same thing for each of these leaves, but they kind of overlap. You see these arrows? This is the way we need to go, and they overlap. So let's do this one petal, and then I can switch to the red and we can do the other one. So first of all, I need to find my first single crochet and slip stitch to it. And now I'm going to chain 3 and double crochet. In my half double crochet, I put 2 double crochets. Oops. And then my next double crochet also gets 2 double crochets. And now my next stitch, which is the middle of my 3 double crochets, gets 3 double crochets. And then we just repeat on the way down. 2 double crochets, 2 double crochets, and then my single crochet gets a double crochet, and then a chain 3, and then we slip stitch into that same stitch. And then I can cut this color off because I don't need it anymore. And there we go. That is one of the big petals done. Okay, so now before we start working on the Poppy Red petals, because that is my next color, I wanted to just bring in this again, and down the side are the notes. And we say this all the time in class, read all the words. So here, work 4 identical petals as shown. 2 are faded to show how they overlap. Each begins with a new yarn on round 4, labeled 4A, B, C, or D. So these other 3 that are in the Poppy Red color, you attach each one as you go. So I'm going to attach 4B at the first single crochet of the smaller petal. I'm going to work my repeat pattern all the way around and slip stitch it here back to the first single crochet, and detach my yarn and attach it again over the next one and work that petal. So each one is going to stand alone. So yes, you're going to have a ton of tails that you're going to have to weave in. That is just the nature of it. Okay, so I have my slip knot on my hook, and I'm going to come over, I'm going to find my single crochet of my next smaller petal and attach my yarn. Chain 3, double crochet back into that stitch, and then work that petal pattern. So 2 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 2 double crochet, double crochet, chain 3. Okay. So I've done my final chain 3, and then I slip stitch back into that same stitch, and I can cut my yarn, and that is my first poppy red petal. So we're going to do 2 more, and they're all going to overlap kind of like this, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say use your tails to sort of tack them down a little bit so that they stay in place. But I will block this, and I'll show you what it looks like blocked. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do my next 2, and then we will come back and we'll do the centers. Okay, petals are all done. It looks like a hot mess because I have so many ends. I'm just going to pull them all into the middle here so that I can show you the back. Get these out of the way. So now we need to tackle this back solid granny square motif, and let's review these folded single crochets. This is where we're going to attach. So in your booklet there are 2 charts for the solid squares. So there's this one, which is the granny, and then there's this one, which is more solid. This is the one that we are using because this is the one that matches the picture on the card, and this is where we attach this circle here. Now you don't make another magic circle, you use the magic circle that you've already got and your first round of stitches to attach. These single crochets that we skipped over, those are where we are attaching our granny cluster or our granny squares. Now on this chart, you can see, if I can get it nice and clear, this has this like curved bottom, and in your chart symbol you will see that this indicates a back loop only. So normally when you attach your granny square, you're only going into the back loop of whatever stitch is in your magic circle. However, for this one, I took a look at the picture on the front, and here is where you've attached your granny circle, and because you can see the color so clearly, it is not through the back loop only. And if it was through the back loop only, there would be a yellow bar here that would be the front loop. So we are going to go through the entire stitch. So let me show you what that looks like. Now, random color generator, generated berry jam. So our bottom square is going to be berry jam. So let's make a slip knot. And if we look at the center of our circle, these were our chain 3s, and then we single crocheted and we skipped those single crochets. So this is where we're going to attach. So find your single crochet, go under both loops, attach your yarn, and be careful not to have your yarn come through to the front because everything needs to be on the back. You're working this upside down basically. Okay, so start off with a chain 3, and then going back into that single crochet, we're going to do 2 double crochets. And that is our first cluster. We need to make our corner, that's a chain 3. Hop over to the next single crochet under both loops, and we do 3 double crochets. Chain 3, oops, and repeat in the next single crochet. Come here. Chain 3, and then one more time. Get all these tails out of the way. Chain 3, and then we can slip stitch it to our starting chain 3 to attach it. Okay, now I wanted to talk about something else because I'm one for adapting patterns all the time. So you will see here that you slip stitch it to your starting chain 3, and then you slip stitch over to your chain 3 space, and you make a corner starting with a chain 3. I kind of hate that process, so this is my workaround. I've slip stitched to the beginning chain 3, and I realize I'm working with super dark yarn, so you probably can't see it very well, but I've slip stitched to my beginning chain 3. I'm going to chain 3, turn my square, and now I can go right back into that space. No slip stitching. I can make my corner, my new corner in this corner. Sorry, my yarn is sticking to my hands because it's quite hot in my studio right now with all the lights and like no air conditioning and the gajillion degrees that it is outside. So I finished a new corner. Now to hop over this cluster, I do a chain 1, and then I have another corner. I've got lots of tails, but I got a lot of corner. And I can make another corner, which is a 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. So I'm going to do that, and then I will be back. So come all the way around, back at the beginning, I can slip stitch into my chain 3. Oh, let's try that again and try and get 2 loops of your chain. It does make it more secure. There we go. And now I just keep growing my square, and I'm going to do the same thing I did on this round. I'm going to kind of ignore the instructions because I'm a rebel, and I'm going to flip. I'm going to chain 3, I'm going to flip my square again, and then I'm going to go right back into that same space. Chain 1 to jump over this cluster. I'm at a corner, so I need to make a corner. Blah. Chain 1 to jump over my cluster, and now I'm in the center cluster space, so I'm just gonna put 1 granny cluster, which is 3 double crochets, chain 1 to jump over the next cluster, and then I'm in a corner again. So I'm just gonna do that, and then the diagram shows that you do a total of 4 rounds. So I'm going to do that, and I'll come back when I'm done. And there we have it. many tails and all. That is the Pansy in, you know, random colors. See you tomorrow.